I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. I have my key. You have it? All right, roll call, please.
You want to look at mine? Caucus?
Here.
Ms. Bassino? Here. Ms. Kelly? Here. Mr. Farrell?
Excused, sorry.
Sorry. Mr. Shapiro?
Here.
Mr. Murray?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Basor? Ms. Straley? Here. Also present. Stand up and say aye. Chief Sampolsky? Stephen Sufford, sorry. Ari Wozon is here.
Thank you. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board of the Borough Clerk's office on January 8, 2025. And 2, emailed to the retrospect and current post on January 8, 2025. First order of business is license approval. Used car lot license applications have been received for the following: Toyota Runnemede, Gateway Classic Car, Belmar Collision, Auto Place USA, Century Auto Row. All paperwork is in order. Request approval to issue these licenses. Would someone like to make a motion to?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
I'll
Mrs.
second it.
Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor to approve?
Aye.
All right. Yeah, we don't have to do a formal. Okay, discussion. The recycling in Camden County Co-op. So as everyone knows, we are part of the co-op for our recycling tonnage. Harry, of course, just left. So Harry wanted to go over the recycling. So basically, we now have to go to Pittman.
Yes,
So where we were going to Camden,
we're going to Camden under the co-op with the bids. Pittman came in a lower rate, plus they want to shut down the Camden facility for overhaul and so forth. So with that, the agreement with the co-op was to go with, I think, a 3-year to start with a couple options.
and what did you want to discuss about it? What do you want council to know? I mean, we already agreed that we would be in the co-op, right?
Yes, it's just with the rates, and then we are going to have a little bit more fuel increase and equipment maintenance and so forth like that for the timing of it.
Do you recall the tonnage, what the winning bid was? I don't have it.
I don't have it.
It's about 1/3 the cost per ton
Of what?
than what we were paying.
Really?
Yes.
So instead of paying $105, we're going to be paying $35?
It can go down to 25 to 42 per ton.
So for
It's
everybody.
per
in the-
market rate,
Ah.
but it's a lot lower than where we were.
So everybody, we used to get paid to recycle. Then we went negative, and we end up paying more than trash. And now it's coming back down, but what, as Harry was explaining, was we now have to drive Pittman with the big trucks.
I checked, it's only about a 2-mile difference.
2-mile difference as far as the crow fly is doing it that way, but more traffic lights stopping and going to get there.
You can go 55 or cut through Denver.
Usually it's easier to go through Deptford.
Is that Ames Road?
Yeah.
Okay.
So with
And when
that,
does that start?
May 1st.
May 1st. Okay. I mean, there's just discussion, you just want everybody to know
Just
about it?
discuss so everybody knows that we have to move forward with the resolutions to get it over to the county, so we're a part of it and so forth, and lock everything in.
Okay.
And how long does this last for?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so we have some business this evening. We have, there's nothing else, right? Okay, first reading ordinance 2501 is the amended code of the Borough of Runnemede, Camden County for sewers. Which one? Oh, this is the sewer rates. So everyone who's here in the audience tonight, we are raising our sewer rates. So everyone knows the new rate for a single-family dwelling unit is how we gauge everything. So single, duplex, and then by units. We'll be going to 198 for the year. And
What
this
was
is
it before?
184.
184. So we hadn't raised it in several years.
So this is for the year.
This is per year. We send one bill out and people can pay in halves. Is that how we let it?
Yeah.
And it will be extended until, instead of March
normally March 1st, it'll be April 1st this year, and September 1st like it always is.
So obviously everyone knows everything, all costs have gone up, we've tried our best to not do it. I have a difficulty raising it every year. I think it's better that we raise it every so many years than every year, like, Beth would argue we should do it 2 or 3% a year.
No, I wouldn't.
Issue. So, well, you know, we only discuss this every so many years, right? Why you give me a dirty look?
Because you know me, I always
You know,
go to that.
Well, we need to, our employees have to get, you know, they have to be
I
compensated,
sit here for my constituents.
you know, and I'm with you.
They're raising it.
So just so you know, that rate then also goes to everyone else. So what our sewer superintendent does is he evaluates the businesses, makes a determination. So a haircut would pay 206, a laundry service 264, and then plus the machine. So there's a whole formula for everybody. So they all pay their fair share depending on their usage. The other thing that went up is the connection fee. Now this doesn't really affect nobody in town other than new homes. So the new homes being built, you know, on Ashbrook Lane, and new homes, the Popeyes would have to pay a different rate based on their connection fee. That's going to $24.85. That increase is substantial. That's almost a 100% increase. And we just haven't done it because Runnemede doesn't typically have a lot of new homes, but the cost of equipment has gone up. Just so you know, everyone in the audience, before we did this, we did let Ashbrook Landing know that we were raising the rates to give them the opportunity to pay ahead. And Beth, they didn't do it, right? They did 2 bills.
They're trying to get a few in this month.
You know, we wanted them to get them all in, but if they wait, that's on them. So that's the 2 things. So what I need from someone is a motion to approve this on first reading with a final public hearing.
I'll make that motion to adopt on first reading.
Okay, motion by Ms. Kelly, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Cassia?
Well, okay, so if it was just for a single-family dwelling of an increase, I would have to say no. Okay?
But it's everyone.
But it's everyone. And because it's everyone,
It's only $1 more a month.
I know that, but that $1 more a month is important.
I
That'll
understand.
pay for my diabetes
I
medicine.
understand.
All right.
You internalize everything.
I do, and you know, it makes me sad, because Social Security goes up and
Yeah.
Medicare takes it away from you, so that's how it is. It's hard for us to.
But it's everybody.
But
Read down the whole
because
list.
it is everybody.
Yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Ordinance 2502 is amending use procedures in the Borough Planning Zoning Board application fees. So this is another one that we're trying to update, is the application fees for the zoning board.
It's been a while.
Well, and where is it in here?
It is not in there, I apologize. I was getting it for free tonight.
So what was the big change? Just the original application fee?
Just the application fees went up,
From-
because they all vary, so at $100,
Okay, so just so everyone knows, we have different application fees for different applicants, and costs have gone up. We also are trying to save people money. We're looking at making people submit things electronically instead of all these copies. So instead of printing 16 copies and submitting them, we're going to do some more electronic to save money on those kind of things. But there is a cost to scan everything and file everything, so.
and mail out, advertising and mailing.
The fees have not gone up tremendously, it's minimal. Like I said, we don't do a lot. We haven't had an application, we only had 1 application in the past 3 months. So I'm sorry I don't have the fee schedule in front of me. Do you want to hold on this, or you want to, we can move forward on this? If everything's okay, we can read it and go over it? Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Murray to approve.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Kelly. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Cassia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Then we have resolutions. We have Resolution 2523 is a resolution authorizing an incentive program for the volunteer firefighters. This is something we've done now this is our 2nd year. And so we found last year that we needed more money to facilitate the needs of the department. So what this does is it increases the amount. It's a budget line item. It's in the budget. The fire company utilizes it as needed. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White?
That resolution is adopted. Resolution 2524 is extending the temporary budget. Shelley, do you want to just, it's just what, 20%? What's the?
No, it's being fully extended until the budget is adopted. The state introduced a new local finance notice this year. Each year, they extend the budget adoption and budget introduction dates. But this year, they're requiring that we actually adopt a resolution extending those dates. So we're extending those introduction and adoption dates, and we're also extending the temporary budget in order to accommodate that.
All right, so the March meeting will be introducing our budget and hopefully adopting it in April. And then remember, the state doesn't adopt their budget till July. So we're still in limbo until they do that. Okay, would someone like to make a motion on that resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Murray, is there a second? Second by Mr. Shapiro. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White?
Yes.
We have quite a few, but I'm going to do one at a time because they're all a little unique. All right, so Resolution 2525 is ratifying a temporary salary increase for certain construction department employees for Active Landing. So as everyone knows, we've got these new townhomes being built. Our construction department normally doesn't handle this kind of volume. They're all part-time inspectors. And what this does is if they cannot inspect on their normal schedule, they have to come in on a day that they're not scheduled, they would be compensated. Wayne, is that how you understand it? If a guy's not scheduled, he would come in on an additional.
Or if it's above what their work schedule is.
Above their work.
Yes, in other words, they might be in the same day, but then what they'll do is. you know,
Stay a
they
couple
have-
hours.
Yeah, they might have 12 inspections instead of 5 inspections.
Okay.
I'm still a little confused. When
So-
they're hired, how are they paid?
So, construction officials are not like any other employee in the borough. They are given a stipend, and they get paid no matter if they do 1 inspection or 100 inspections.
Okay.
And so their hours are kind of determined by the construction official based on previous years. This is an anomaly year for the borough. We typically don't have 100 homes being built. So the idea is utilize the manpower we have now, but ask them to work additional hours, just like a police department might work overtime, Public Works might work overtime. This is basically overtime for construction.
For the whole construction?
No. The construction office is a set rate. If the construction office personnel work more, they already get overtime. If they have to work additional hours, they have a union contract, and they are compensated for any hours over their normal schedule.
So, okay, so they're having more work to do, so they're going to get compensated for that, right? Wayne wants to get compensated because he has more work to do. So is he going to bring that work that he has to do, which is going to be more, back to the office?
Yes.
So does that person who works in that office?
So let me explain it to you. If the police department gets no calls,
Mhm.
they get paid. If the police department has 1,000 calls,
Yeah.
they get paid the same amount of money.
Exactly.
If the police department has to work overtime, they get compensated. If the construction office has to work overtime, they get compensated. We have brought in additional personnel in the construction office, and we have some additional means that we're going to be moving forward with in the future to help the construction office. We're bringing in a new software program.
Right.
We're going to try to streamline things. We're going to raise some of our fees to bring some revenue in, so we can afford it. But, you know, I know what you're trying to say, but if we only pay people for the hours they work. If they can't get it done in the hours they work, you're 100% right. It would be overtime or someone else would have to do it. That's basically what you're asking. You know, now how do we hire somebody for a project that's only for 1 year?
Well, I would think that that would be just part of their job. when they-
No. You're not going to hire another person for just 1 year and then let them go at the end of the job. Like
No.
after these 96 townhouses are built, what do we do with that person? That you're saying we need all this extra work. What do you do with that person? The only thing to do is to really pay overtime, shall we?
We have recently hired a part-time individual. that
No, I think she's
comes in
actually talking about the inspectors.
To
You're talking about the
assist.
inspectors. Wayne, do you want to explain it to the councilwoman, because I don't think she's
Here's the
understands.
thing.
Are you understanding it?
Yeah.
Wayne, why don't you explain,
I'm understanding.
help everybody out that you don't just work for Runnemede.
DCA
That
says,
you have a little bit more work to do, so you want to get compensated for
okay,
it.
so if we can't handle inspections, we say, okay, let's say at midweek, we're working 5 inspections plus plan review. If it comes in, we have 10 inspections, we can't do that. If we don't do it, they call in for inspection. DCA says you have 3 days, 72 hours for that inspection. If you don't do it, DCA says you have to hire a third party. They have the right to hire a third party, the developer hires third party, does inspections, and then they bill the town for their inspectors. If you
don't want
do it
that to
that way, they
happen.
can do it. It gets very expensive, because whatever you collect, they can come back and say, here's the figure we collect, and then we paid out, and you have to pay them for that. They have the right to do that. So DCA says you have 72 hours for that inspection. If you don't do it, you know.
So in the-
He gets paid.
So no, explain how your salary works and how your employees work. I don't think she understands that you're not full-time employees.
Yeah, for instance, my inspectors usually come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, okay? They're usually here a couple hours, they do inspections, they do plan review. So if they gotta go out.
Explain what plan review is.
Plan review is when plans come in, remember, all these houses got a good plan review, a prototype, which is a little bit easier, there's a couple different models. So what they do is you have to review the whole plans. Building has to do theirs, which is me. You got electrical, you got plumbing, fire. Everybody has to look at them plans. However long it takes. It's not like something you just flip through a set of plans. It's done in 10 minutes. It could take you 2 hours to do that. You know, you just do it in between the time to sign off. Once that's done, then each permit that comes in on 96 homes, you got 96 permits, okay? So the permits have to be done. You got building, electrical, plumbing, fire. After they're all done and reviewed, each one of them has to be signed off. Diane gets it, which is our clerk, and then she has to put them into the system. When they call in for inspections, she's got to take all that paperwork and do the inspections.
She sets them up, she's got,
So you have 100 homes that you have to do a little bit more extra work on,
Roughly 96.
96.
now remember what he just said though.
I heard.
If it's not in the 72 hours,
Correct.
we're gonna say they've offered to come in and do the work. If it's in the 72 hours and he has time, he's just gonna do the
Which we
inspection.
did talk to the developer, which they're building.
He's not building all 96 at once.
No, it's not 96. Turn around the home, they're talking 120 days. They're gonna finish your unit and be done, and hopefully get it CO one, is what they're looking for.
6
So
buildings.
what kind of money are we talking?
It's right here, it's $25 per inspection.
I'm sorry, I didn't look at
Yeah,
that.
it should be in there.
So it's above and beyond. So if he comes in on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday and Thursday,
Right.
they get paid the $25 per inspection. Now remember, we're getting compensated for this.
The fees are getting paid, so it's not gonna cost you more money. The fees that you're bringing in, an average home is, I think, $3,400 roughly, times 96, whatever that comes to, I didn't calculate that out.
It's over
So if
$300,000.
you got 3,400 coming in, you might be paying the inspectors, I don't know, $1,000 maybe. I'll just use that for example, it might not be that much. So you're still offsetting, it's not gonna be, the town's still gonna bring money in off of
The
that.
point is, we don't want to have a situation
Where are you
where,
gonna have third one?
well, what happened, used to happen is, I used to call for inspections, and the inspectors couldn't get out there.
Yes.
So me, I would call the state on it and say the town couldn't get it done. But back then, there was no remedy for me.
That's why.
Zero
we're
remedy.
tracking down.
So
We just
now-
had a meeting with them, so.
So the legislature changed the law and said, if the town doesn't do their job, I can hire a third-party inspector
Correct.
and then send a bill back to Gloucester Township and say, you gotta compensate me for bringing this
And
guy
whatever the
out.
fee is, it could be, it could be $75. I mean, there's another town that does this, they do $40.
So we're prepared. We're
Inspections,
trying to be prepared.
25. What we're doing, we work along with, just so you know, I don't think it's part of
Are
that.
you the only person doing this?
No, no, right here.
It's a whole-
Building,
it's all-
Wayne,
okay.
James, Steve, John. You should have looked at the, yeah.
But I was just sitting here, just paying, like, you know, I didn't see. So, okay. So, I do understand what you're saying. When you talk about construction, I do understand it. My husband's in construction also, so I understand everything you're talking about.
So there are a lot of
So-
inspections to be done.
Yeah, I
No
get
doubt
it.
about it.
I get it.
And
They're
then
gonna try to be
you gotta
efficient.
sign off the CO, so after they're all done, now you sign the CO, you do the CO issue, which that's part of the job, I still do that.
Then once he signs off on the CO, it goes to the tax assessor. The assessor puts it in the rolls, and then the tax collector sends out the tax bill. And that's all very important for us.
Yeah, just
Put all this stuff
Just so
everywhere.
you know, and we probably didn't talk about that, when these inspections, If they do fail, because we don't want to fail, if they do fail, we will go back and not charge them all 25 hours. So 25 hours,
I was
it's
just
got
gonna
passed.
ask that.
So in other words, if we go out there and,
Well, I saw you did that on the housing, I didn't see
Yeah.
you did this on here.
yeah, that's the way.
Well, that's up to you
do
guys.
it. Yeah, the housing was a little bit different, but on these, because it's a bigger project, if it fails, then we're not going to, you know.
Because you're gonna be running around again.
Correct, so we just go out there. We want them to, once they get the inspections and know what we're looking for, which is uniform construction code, we're not making up the code, we just enforce it. So we want them to pass. We go out there and fail 3 of them, we're going to go back the next day and we have to go with it whenever they're ready.
Right, and when your certifications are on the line, so you're not just gonna do it just to do it.
Correct.
You gotta
Yes,
uphold the code,
yes.
which is your sworn oath, and, you know, so
Correct.
you want it to, you have to balance it.
And
which you
I've
do.
covered for other towns doing it, to be honest, I'm not mentioning any old towns, that's doing a big project, I help them out. And there was ones like, I go in there for insulation inspection, and was afraid, and, oh, he said, just keep continuing. I'm like, okay, I don't feel comfortable, because I'm doing insulation, I don't know if the thing was framing. So you can't do that, we're pretty prompt, we're going to not give a sticker. if
Wayne's by the book.
Yeah, I just,
That's why our scout building's not there.
don't go there.
I watch it every day.
Yeah.
But I think this is a positive way to, because, you know, we normally do $100,000 a year in, I don't know, what do you do, $90,000 a year in UCC fees.
It's probably 100.
But this is going to be, in the next 2 years, that fee's going to go up, and we just need to do it properly.
Yeah, last year.
And this might need to be adjusted if we don't have enough
Last year was,
personnel.
I think, right around 225, so.
Is that what it was? I'm my numbers.
Yeah, and this year will probably go 300.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't always look at all the fees,
And
but
the thing is-
they're supposed to be self-sustained.
If DCA is get a third party, they could charge 70, I want to say $75 inspection. That's going to get billed back to the town. So now you might go back to zero, with nothing coming in, you're going to get all the money. Okay?
It's
And
different.
he's done this in other towns, that's how we do it.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it gives us another tool.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay?
All right, thank you, Wayne. Glad you were here. Would someone like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 2525? All right, motion by Mr. Larry. Second? Second by Mr. Shapiro, roll call.
Ms. Passione?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White? Five ayes, one absent.
You know what, I might group some of these together, because these are kind of easy. Authorization for the agreement of the HVAC preventive maintenance. So this is state contract, we just get somebody to keep an eye on all our HVAC systems. Why don't you read it as we're going? Authorization for the application for fiscal year 2025 local recreation improvement grant. Everybody remembers, we got some money to do the pickleball courts. It wasn't enough, so we're trying to pair it with it this current year. I did see the email saying that they only had $20 million, but we'll hopefully get some more money, we'll see. That's Resolution 2527. Resolution 2528 is authorization of a shared service agreement between Runnemede, Belmar, Mount Ephraim for trash collection. As everyone knows, we've been doing this with them for, I think it's been about 10 years. The rates do go up a little bit, but the rates are basically, it's based on two things, fuel cost and what they're paying their employees. And it's still much less than what Waste Management or Robinson was charging us. Resolution 2529 is a resolution through shared service in the Borough of Magnolia for the provision of mechanical repairs. Once again, this is as needed. Correct, Harry? You only go there. They have a heavy equipment mechanic. Resolution 2530 is a resolution on shared service with Borough of Chislehurst, which we're still helping them out with public works, sewer operator service, sewer emergency. They've still been very excellent with compensating us. It's just a little difficult. It is a little far away, but I think our guys have done a good job. And then the last resolution is 2531. It's a resolution for change order number 1 for Lambert Construction. This is,
$15,000 based on as-built quantity and so on the project.
so there were less asphalt, less concrete, less something. So everyone in the audience, the way the
What
bids are,
project was that?
Harding and Payne. So the bids are based on quantities. They turn in quantities and we pay them based on their quantities. And that actually protects them, so if it's too much, they get compensated. So on a $206,000 project, we got $15,000 back. We'll figure out what it's going to be. Charles, okay. So would someone like to make a motion on resolutions 2526 to 2531? Motion by Mr. Shapiro, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Passio, any discussion on any of them? All right, roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
And Mr. White?
Yes.
And I vote aye.
All right, all those resolutions are adopted.
Mayor, real quick,
Yes,
can you do a quick sidebar with myself and Chief?
sure. I did want to walk one more on. We'll do that afterwards.
That one? Okay, good, perfect. If you're talking about the same thing, then we're good.
It's La Quinta.
No.
Oh. You want to walk on La Quinta?
You have it there, yeah.
I do have it. Okay, so everyone knows that the borough's been negotiating with the developer to turn La Quinta into housing, market rate housing, take the 165 units, turn them into 110 units. Obviously, the police department, the fire department, everyone's been dealing with this building being empty, it's an eyesore. So it took a little while because the developer, we were having some issues with the actual agreement saying what they're doing. Council's already said that we were okay with the plan and it allows it to be an apartment. We've already agreed financially on how much they're going to pay based on the value of the property. This is not the financial agreement. We're not going to execute the financial agreement until after the developer goes in front of the planning board. So the developer still has to go in front of the planning board. There's a public hearing. Everyone's going to get to hear and talk about it. But council basically saying, we're okay with it being an apartment, we're okay with the units, and we're okay with the financial, what they're going to compensate us. But Emily, who's been working with us as our counsel on this, and Dan has, I believe you reviewed it, at least kept an eye on it for us.
Of course.
We just have basically a resolution that council is agreeing with the redevelopment law. We're just following the law, saying this is what you're allowed to do. The redeveloper has acquired the property. The redeveloper is now authorized to go in front of the planning board and construction. They're allowed to start moving forward. We're just giving them the okay. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to happen. It only means that we're doing our part. You know, we are just the first step. So as long as council, if anybody have any questions, let's talk about them first. All we're basically saying is we're doing our part, saying we're okay with this to move forward, to go in front of the planning board. Is there any discussion
Are they
on this?
saying what the units are going to be?
They did. If you remember the whole presentation, they did all the presentation with us, and they showed us what the exterior is going to look like, the grays, and they haven't really come up with a name yet, because Ashbrook was kind of taken, they were looking at different names that were somewhat historic.
Generally, one bedroom, a handful of efficiencies and a handful of two bedrooms.
Yeah.
Small, 650 square feet to maybe 1,100 square feet.
So it's not necessarily affordable housing, but they're affordable in the sense that they're not huge apartments. They believe that there's a need for one-bedroom apartments in this area. I would assume that they know what they're doing. And apartments are not a bad thing for us. It's something, the hotel was good until it was no longer good. So, any other discussion? Ed, you're aware of all, you've been hearing this, we've been talking about this for 2.5 years. So, we're finally as close as we've ever been. And I'm hoping... So the pilot, yes, we have a financial agreement which basically gives them about 50% off their property taxes for 30 years. And then it scales up. There's an escalator during the process, and then it revs up at the end. The only what this redevelopment really does say is that we can hold them to do this project, but is the borough really going to sue anybody if they don't build it? But I will say, I can talk to Carrie and Emily, what we can do is take the pilot away from someone. So if someone doesn't follow their rules, it's a contract. We can remove it.
Right.
So that's our real out. If you're not going to follow the rules, you got to go back to a couple $100,000 tax. What?
We're actually going to not adopt the financial agreement until they've met
Yeah, I
certain
understand.
project
I said it's not part of it.
goals.
Yeah. Yeah, the financial, you're right. They have to start constructing, get their financing. They have to get their plans into construction. They have to, there's utilities that have to be resolved. There's a fire suppression system and things like that all have to be done properly. And so we're only one step in this. So please don't think that this is tomorrow. But I mean, Dan and I, we've been, I think the chief, everyone's been involved in trying to keep this thing moving forward. Okay? All right, so would someone like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2532, which is the resolution execution of the redevelopment agreement with L2L, Runnemede Urban Renewal, for the Block 135.
I'll make that motion
Okay.
gladly.
Motion by Ms.
Finally.
I'll
Ms. Kelly.
second it.
second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
I abstain.
And Mr. White?
Yeah.
4 ayes, 1 absent, 1
I don't even need to remind you this one.
No, I'm only counting.
Thank you. That resolution is adopted. We're going to take what am I doing here?
30 seconds will
30 seconds. We're not going to adjourn anything, just give me a second. Where are we going?
2014. That's super, it's something secret.
I can't listen to the smells.
Oh, I'm sitting in the right spot.
Well, why don't we just leave it I want to do it right now. Sleep to it has but he's not in the You did You know what the sound is? So,
He's got to get through it.
So, we have a SLEO 1 right now. We're going to send to the academy. But to go to the academy, he has to be appointed as a SLEO 2. But they're still considered part-time appointees. They're not in a contract. This is not hiring them from the contract. It's swearing in as an officer. So what we want to do this evening is we want to do a resolution 2533. And that'll be to appoint Vincent Speakman as a SLEO 2 at the academy rate while he's at the academy. When he comes out of the academy, he'll be a SLEO 2 at the SLEO 2 rate.
Yeah, because he'll pass all the stuff that he had to pass.
Does that make sense?
Minimum wage, I think.
It's minimum wage while he's at the
Yeah.
academy.
Yep.
But if he works for us as a SLEO 2, he gets compensated at the SLEO 2 rate that's in our contract.
Angelucci was the same.
So
Same
it's
thing.
minimum wage at the academy.
Yeah. So the resolution will be, Vincent Speakman, for the purposes of him to go to the academy, he's being appointed as a SLEO 2 at the rate of minimum wage until he completes the academy and is formally appointed as a SLEO 2 at the SLEO 2 rate. Does that language sound okay?
Good enough.
Good enough? You guys can clean it up?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Don't concern you. I mean, I think that the resolution says, and here's what I want you to do, I want you to need to know that that's what he knows this, right? He knows this. So he can't argue.
John Angelucci, same thing, right?
And we've already had a precedent. Why don't we pull out Angelucci's,
Well, he's going
Well,
to.
Angelucci's was different because it was a different rate.
the rates changed.
The rates changed.
Minimum wage change.
Well, no, we actually increased SLEO 2 rates. See, our rates, we try to entice guys to be SLEO 2.
Working where?
So we have a different rate for different things. But if council does a resolution appointing him for this, only for him at the academy, he agrees to this. Right, Dan? By him agreeing to it, he knows while he's at the academy, this is what he's getting.
Remember, that's the one option, and the other option, I'm going with the option that protects us.
Okay. Okay, so that's resolution 2533 is the appointment of Vincent Speakman to SLEO 2 for the purpose of going to the academy at the minimum wage rate until he completes his certification. Use that language. He has to complete it.
Yeah. And that's what, there was some kind of language next to Angelucci's name.
They had to finish it and get
Yeah,
it.
like
Okay.
some kind of provisional until he gets through.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Mr. Shapiro. Any other discussion? Got all that? Roll call?
Ms. Cassia?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. White?
That resolution is adopted. Okay. What's next? All right, committee reports. Finance and construction. Mr. Murray.
Okay, so I'm going to hold my official report till next week, but I wanted to discuss a few things that our construction officials been working on with some fees. Everybody could take a look at this.
No, you look at it.
These are our inspection fees for
Pass it
properties
down to Ed.
these are our fees for inspections on properties right now. And I'm going to ask our construction official, Wayne, to come up and explain it a little bit
Poor
more
Wayne.
for us.
So he's
Yeah,
got
put him right on
proposed
the
and
spot.
existing. He's done a pretty
What's
good job.
going on now, honestly, is what I see, and through talking with Wayne, is that our inspections are basically like a punch list for the residential properties. And that we'll go out and give them a punch list and we come back for free. So it's not, doesn't make sense. So what we do is want to jockey that around and make it to where.
Oh, we're going to give the list to the residents before we come out.
So
So they'll know that we're looking at a railing.
The thing is, if you own the property and somebody says it's going to cost $100 to come out there, and you owned it, I'm not going to send a guy that works for me, I'm going to send Runnemede out there to do my inspection, give me a punch list, because when they come back, it's free anyway. So you give me the list and tell me what you want.
But we're still giving them a list beforehand, right?
Yeah,
When somebody
they
calls for
know
this housing
If
inspection,
Diane has something in there that, gives them out.
this is what you want, we're going to check these items and only these items.
And they know that, it's just that they're using us for the punch list, and then we come back for free. The third inspection's only $25, which every.
And then the only thing I get yelled at, Wayne, is we inspect and not new things on the second inspection. That's the other thing I get a little bit yelled at. So you have to work that out. Whatever you want to do is, that's fine with me.
We're
working on it.
Then you tell them what we're looking at.
Just had a conversation with them today. So
But if we have
that's-
20 items, it can't be 25 items.
But in other words, you fail, a different inspector goes back, you
And a
can say,
different-
come back with 3 other things, that's the
Yeah,
problem.
I'm with you on that.
We had an issue with a couple of ones that they did, and me and Dan talked about,
Okay.
that went out, and there's only one still hanging there.
And I'd like to get a checklist and have it on our site, so everybody can just, a lot of towns have it right on your website.
And as everyone knows, the new website's coming, and you can have a whole page, right? We can have a whole housing inspections, code enforcement page, that'll list it, and they got a fillable PDF and the whole
So
thing.
they know what we're looking for.
And then you can just say, it was right there.
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess tonight, we wanted to talk about this, introduce it, take this home, digest it a little bit, and then we'll move, adjust it or move forward however we see fit.
You want me to explain?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so sale of property, single family dwellings, right now is existing, they pay $100. The next inspection's free, and then they go third inspection on is $25. We're looking to increase it. A lot of the realtors come in and need it right away, and sometimes it can't happen right away, so if it's over 10 days, it's $125. If they need it sooner, it's $150. All inspection fees, if they fail it, it's $75 go back out, cover their guys. Because right now, we're in the hole paying them
Yeah,
guys.
and it's very similar to fire. If you remember how we do
Yeah.
spokes, if they want it quicker,
It eliminates, what happens, it eliminates the realtor coming in and saying,
The day
"I
before."
need it
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you go out there and it fails anyway, and then they're upset because it fails, and we just start all over and go back for free.
and then,
Yeah,
and once
they're-
they do it, they'll learn this is
Yeah,
our
yeah.
system.
I mean, what other towns do it for free?
There's no other towns. I do a couple of towns and stuff, and I don't know if any of them. does it
Thank you,
for free.
Wayne.
Nobody.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, it's not the right punch list and saying, yeah, give me a list. If I own them, I say, I'm gonna go to the meeting.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Change in ownership is like 3 or more properties. This could be a sale of, it could be an apartment complex, it could be a triplex, okay, or a quad. So right now, we're at $150 per building, which means, I did one of them for you, which you guys lost money off of. It had to be 10 apartments and 3 businesses, 4 businesses, okay? We went out there,
You did
$150.
13
It failed.
inspections.
8 of them failed. I went back, did 8 more, okay? And they paid $150, and the next ones were free.
Yeah.
Okay, so with this system of proposing, it'd be again, $50 if it's over 10 days, if needed less than 10 days, it'd be 75, plus the cost of $150 per building. So if you had an apartment complex that say sold, it's gonna be $75 per unit if it's less than 10 days, and they got paid $150 a building.
So let me just clarify 10 days. Are you thinking business days, or like, are you thinking 10 days calendar days?
Usually we do business days.
We do business
Yeah.
days. So make sure we amend that then.
Yeah.
If you want to do 10 days, I'm still fine with that.
Well, I just think that you guys are only coming in every so many days.
The problem is you get a holiday and now it's all Sunday next week.
I know, it's tough.
Yeah, that makes it tough, so it should be
I
business
don't think
days.
10 business days, but we can talk about that.
And then, for example, for that, if a apartment complex sold, we did this, 224 units at $75. We'll just pick the lower units, 224 units at $50 over 10 days, okay? They pay $11,200 plus $150 a building. As of now, that 224 units, if they were saying 10 units, let's say 10 units, 10 buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, they would pay 10 times 150, they pay $1,500, where now they would pay $11,200. Because we gotta go there and do inspections and all that, it takes time.
So the only thing I'll say about this one aspect, before I know you're going to bring it up, we've been talking about doing yearly inspections.
That's another one.
The only thing I would say, though, is these inspections, if the person had their yearly inspection done and then they sold the place, I think we have to think about that. You don't want to double hit them.
Way we've done them.
Yeah, tell me how you did it. If, you know, you do the inspection in March and they sell it in June.
9 months, they say January to September, okay?
Yeah.
And if we sold, we would waive some of the fees.
Okay.
Okay? If it's sold in November, guess what, then it's set it back off, and that inspector, that complex has to reset their new annual inspections when we get it.
So you've thought about this, has already
Yeah,
happened.
we've done it before. So
Where is that in here?
No, what they're getting, I would have got a little ahead.
Examples
So
at the bottom.
then, yeah, the
Then
example's there.
the other thing we're getting to, another thing.
We've been talking about, one of the things we don't do is we don't go into the units enough. You know, some units we never go into because people don't move.
Yeah.
And so there could be fire safety
And that's the
hazards.
problem, is you go in, all of a sudden the tenants live there for 10 years,
Yeah,
the place is
yeah.
falling apart, they're calling Board of Health, they're calling our code enforcement, saying there's a problem with the property.
What does the state require?
The state only does certain
5 year.
units over 5 years once you have over 3 units.
They have a 5-year registration, that 5-year goes all the time. And if we do a rental registration, which we've done this in other towns, is if you have a 5-year, you hit the 5-year mark, that's a free ride, you don't have to register with us.
If they do it with the state.
Yeah, so in other words, you get the
All right.
state, we're not gonna double.
So you'll put that on, so the state,
That's when it comes down here.
Okay.
We're still talking sales.
all right, we're doing sales, but I'm thinking both, okay.
You're jumping ahead, but that's fine. So sale vacant, let me see where I'm at here. Sale vacant 1, 2 family. This is another one I proposed, we don't have it, we're running across that, where they need a TCO. A flipper comes in and buys the house, he can't get it past the CO, so now they're gonna have the settlement, and they're already buying the place, and we're not getting no CO finished. So my recommendation, and we've done this before, it'd be a temporary CO. The inspection fee would then be $200.
How do we know the property's vacant?
Well, we don't know that. So what it would be is a flipper, or someone says, hey, I can't do my concrete, it's too cold. Now you need a TCO.
Okay.
So if they already paid, let's say, $125, they're not paying.
Because one thing I remember, people who pay cash for properties, we don't know that there was a change of ownership.
Right.
Unless the buyer requests it.
Yeah.
Even when they finance them, we're finding out, we just had one today, Diane can back me up on that, they had settlement.
And nobody, we didn't know.
And now we found out they already settled it. And it's,
Even though it's our law, they ignore it.
if it's cash sale, they'll just go and buy it.
Yeah.
And then what happens, they buy it, and now they want to sell it, and they think they're gonna pay 1 CO when they sold it. No, yours from their
I mean, I'm okay with trying all this, because I think it's better.
So, and the flippers are gonna pay it, the realtors are gonna pay it, because they wanna make the sale, they want the commission, is what they want. So this would be $200, all re-inspections within 120 days and 75 hours. So they called, we're gonna go out there, we're not ready to punch this, there's too many items, the place is run down, unhabitable.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna give 120 days to the ACO, and if they finish in 60 days, it's 75 hours. If they go over 120 days, they have to ask for an extension, because we want the property sitting there for a year vacant, okay? The 30-day extension is $75 each extension. And if you ask me, which next question, you're gonna ask how long does that extension go for? So if we go 120 days and we go 30, we'll give them more than likely one other one. After 6 months, we got a problem. We got to talk and see what's going on. And that additional would be upon approval of the construction official or designated.
And there might be a reason.
Yeah.
Once again, if anybody saw my building, it's too cold to put the asphalt in. The utility company just the other day pulled the telephone pole out. That took 6 months for them to remove that telephone.
Flippers are the worst, because you're coming in here, they're buying them, they don't want to see everything, they don't want to see what it looks like inside, and then they put water heaters in, they do plumbing in there, and then people buy a house, and they're buying $400,000, and all of a sudden the plumbing's a problem, and it's costing $15,000.
And they're not getting any rough inspection? They're not doing any inspection?
We're getting them where they're just going in there and just rehab them.
And not
Yeah,
touch
yeah, I'm not going to mention any addresses,
Yeah.
but we had one just today, and just fined them, it was a water heater they put in an apartment complex, and they just fined them $2,500. Okay, so they actually just did it.
I didn't get a call somehow.
Yeah, that's good. They weren't happy, but I guess you didn't get a call because they paid
No, you
$25.
pay, that's good.
But again, it was a safety issue. They moved someone in without getting a CO and it's improper water heater that could have left carbon into the apartment.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. So that's the reason for that. Another thing, run on right now is we only do exterior sale properties, which I believe that was during COVID.
It was a lot of reasons, because the most legitimate buyers want a home inspection. So it seemed a little redundant for us to go in there and do the whole thing when it was there. And then we were also causing more problems by going into the houses. Because like you said, there were so many things wrong, we were holding up so many sales. And while I agree with you, I understand, it's a tough one, but, there's a part of me who believes in the buyer beware mentality. That if a buyer is buying it, they need to do their due diligence. And when we started, I'll give you an example. We went into a house over in the Sherrington area, and we found that they put a electrical service in, and all this other kind of stuff. And I got yelled at a million times because they were trying to go to settlement, and they're yelling, trying to go to settlement, and things like that, and we're like, well, you have to go do this. And we made them fix it. We actually made them rip the entire electrical service out. But then we made a decision back 10 years ago, well, maybe before COVID.
I got it since COVID, that's what I
Yeah,
heard.
I think it was, we just did exterior and said, let the home inspectors do the inspections.
Yeah, it was COVID.
It was COVID?
Yeah.
As far as
So 2000, so-
grandma and grandpa selling the house, we don't want to pick on them going in there, so,
But then you're discriminating. That, I don't see, now that's not because it's grandma or
No,
grand,
okay, I'll go back. So
Go use examples, trust me, just skip them.
So if a flipper's doing it, you know what I mean, next, we want to make sure. Problem is, if flipper goes in there, or everybody goes in there.
Flipper's a different story.
They buy the house, whether they resell or live in it, most of the time, they take that bearing wall out, the
Yeah.
kitchen, the living room.
But I'm using the example of an pre-existing home, that we walk in there, and all of a sudden, I'll give you the best example, Gloucester Township tried to do what you're talking about, and it caused so many problems, because they were going in finding additions, they're finding all the stuff, and then it's caused, like you said, how do you inspect an addition that's already done? Do you make them rip all the sheetrock out?
Yeah, if
Do you make them,
gets involved with that,
it becomes,
additional.
you start ripping everything
We're
apart.
maybe looking at from water heaters, either they were installed, or let's say water heater is just.
And certain things
No
even-
date on there, they didn't pull permit, that's up to you, Southeast one.
No, I mean, a water heater requires a permit, right?
Correct, but a lot of times you go in houses, it's brand new water heater, take a picture of the serial number, look it up, and guess what, it's just been installed last year, a new service, so wasn't ever inspected, who done it, we don't know, so it's more of a safety issue,
It
what
is.
we're trying to do.
And a lot of buyers will over-request all construction permits. That's a big part of every day. the Oprah request, because the buyer wants to know, was
They're
everything,
not doing it because they want the house, it goes to a big, it's still happening, it's going to.
It's still happening.
So they don't care. You can film for 100 things, they just want the house, I don't care, I want the house.
I mean, the only thing I would consider is if we tell people what we're looking for, then I'm sort of fine with that.
Is that what that punch list is?
Well, that's what we do talk about. We're walking around the exterior of the building, and we say, railings, broken windows, broken concrete. We're giving them a list of all the things we're gonna look at. And then we go check that. Now, if we say we're gonna go in someone's house, for fire, we always do smokes. We do carbon monoxide. We do the fire extinguisher. So if we list things, I'm less inclined to be difficult. Now, where it gets a little tricky is all the illegal construction that goes on.
You want to start picking fire?
You start-
That's more work for me, so I don't
Now
do
you gotta
that.
go back and do all this research.
Just all that.
We have a filing cabinet of open permits that people never called even for their final inspections.
Right.
I'm leaning towards Wayne that we have enough on our plate.
Yo, I'm 100% for you.
I mean, let's think about all the changes that you're trying to do here.
I'd rather see you go through
You
the
know?
changes and say, you know what, the changes are fine, but we'll still hold off on the exterior.
Hey, if we're sitting here a year from now and everything's up and running and it's all great and we want to add interior, you know what I mean?
And the world might change again.
And if you want to look at that, that's fine. So as far as the exterior, we'll leave it all, we'll just do the interior. And
Just do the
that's,
exterior.
that's exterior only, that's
Yeah.
only
But a
for
list.
sale of property.
Sale of property.
Correct, rentals.
And we need a list for our website. We
And
have to have
that's
a
what we're
check.
doing now.
That's what we're doing now, we're just cleaning
It's
it
just
up.
changing the prices, because we're definitely losing money.
Changing the prices and really standardizing what we're inspecting. So if you decide to sell, you get a piece of paper and you say, this is the items I have to do.
Same that I would have to do with my house, right?
Yeah.
So it's all equal.
The next one we're looking at is changing occupancy, change of tenant. This would be a rental. Okay, this would be multifamily and single dwellings, all pay the same. Right now, existing is $100 for single family, $50 for apartments. Again, second inspection's free, $25, $30.
So you think everyone was taking advantage of us, Wayne?
I'll be honest, because if I own the property, I'm just gonna let Runnemede go in there and do my inspections. If I take a guy who's in there half a day fixing things, don't fix nothing. Let Runnemede come in.
Tell me what to
Tell
do.
me what they need. I'm not
Yeah.
paying you $200 for that half a day. You're going in there and telling them what, and they'll send my guy back in and doing whatever you want.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes a
I
lot
mean,
of sense.
it's crazy, they're using us is what they're doing. So my proposed is what we're coming up with, inspection would be $100 per unit, straight across the board, re-inspections $50, or $75, I'm sorry. And then
But we're telling them what we're looking for.
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna tell them what they're looking. Most of the apartments know what we're looking at, and they sometimes still fail. So it's like, yeah, we can drill in all we want, I just don't understand. A lot of times it's the maintenance guy, he goes in there, oh, you know what, I skipped that. And we ran across one, didn't have no smokes and COs in it. I'm like, so now I have no smokes and no COs, guess what? Now we're gonna reset it up, put them in there, I gotta send the inspector back, he's going back for free. We
So
charge $50
every
for
time
that.
there's a change of rent, a
Change
new
of
renter
ownership.
comes
Change
in,
of renter, yes.
there will be an inspection.
That is correct, and we do that now, it's just the fees are so low.
So now he's gonna get to the, I keep going, then we'll get to the last thing. Because remember what we were talking about, though, there's some apartments we never go into. People live there for 20 years.
Commercial properties are mixed use, that would be like almost the one I told you about, with 10 apartments
Yeah.
and 4 buildings. Right now, if we pay $150, or they spend $150 per building, you can have 50 units in there, and it's $150.
Yeah, for one,
Second
yeah.
inspection's free. We're definitely in the hole paying inspectors. So my proposed is to go $150 per unit, and then re-inspection is $75. That would be like a commercial place. So in other words, you had a store, you're gonna pay $150 each unit. If you fail, $75 per unit.
So in presidential, they have one building with, I don't know, 10 units?
Yes. So in other words, if that was a change of...
But normally they don't have everybody leaving in the whole building.
Right, correct. They don't usually have, this is more or less if someone's going to sell the property. So in other words, if they leave in right now apartment, they rent, say they get, let's say 2 apartments move out, it's going to be $50 each. If they fail, it's $25. That's the previous page.
They don't have it, I don't know what their turnover is like, but, there's turnover every month.
There it is. I mean, the average, I don't know, 3 inspections, 3 to 5 a day on inspections, Tuesdays and Thursdays. The other one, I guess is a big one.
Yeah.
Proposed rental registration. This is big. Most of the other towns do this. What they do is charge an annual registration. It includes one inspection.
Now, is this per apartment?
Yeah, that would be per.
So registration fee, one is per apartment.
That is correct.
Okay.
It does get expensive, but it cleans up everything. So in other words, once you do annual inspections, and let's say 6 months from now, somebody moves out, most of the time it's going to pass unless they trash the place. So it's keeping your units up to date, and it's also.
And then the only thing that I was talking about earlier was,
If somebody's in there
if they have a tenant, you just have to give me a language for, so here's the hypothetical. We do our annual inspection in, say, June, but the new tenant just moved in May. We don't charge them for that unit to be inspected, they're just there in May.
Correct.
That's the only thing, I don't want to hit people
Usually
twice in the
within
same
60
year.
days.
Oh, you do it that time?
Because if you came in here and said, I got a new tenant moving in, and all of a sudden, 3 months from now, all of a sudden, a new tenant moves in, you gotta do an OCO, because you don't know that place could be trashed. So if you don't go in there, most times they trash.
So you might want to do a 60-day, okay.
You know,
And then if
you're
the
doing
state
free
inspection, on state inspection
State
years,
inspections, you're not gonna
we don't charge
them.
anything.
No, and I can get better language on that, what we've done.
So we will skip those
You
years.
can't, you can't double that. They're doing inspections.
So the state actually hires us, right?
Yeah, we're doing DCA, which we've got a guy.
Are you doing that with,
No, I'm not doing that.
but you have somebody doing it?
Yeah, someone else.
So we've been doing this for years. We have a shared service with the state of New Jersey. We send inspectors in to go to all the apartments, the big apartments, and go do these.
That's a 5-year, and that can come, in other words, they say presidential, they might get, say they got inspection in 24, it won't come up until 29, it stays with that property, so they can't come back and say, oh no, I just got inspection in 27, and they have to prove that they got it inspected, so we have to prove that green card saying that they did come out. So that would be.
And you'll make a list on all those items too. You know, every year,
Yeah.
we'll check smokes, we'll check everything.
We check everything.
Okay.
And I believe fire does not get in there on that.
Well, I don't believe fire goes into the
That's what I'm
apartments.
saying, you don't. So we can go in there and guess what?
Yeah, I have to double
If they live
check.
there 10 years, they can have old battery smoke detectors in there. and
I can double check that.
So it's, again, it's a safety.
Can you ask Mike that? You know Mike Kearney, right?
Yeah.
Ask him if, I don't know if he does.
He doesn't do them, just common
Is
areas.
that what it is? He
Yeah,
does common areas.
common areas. So he would not go in the apartment, single families he goes in, apartments he don't. Just keep them.
So just so you know, other towns around us have actually started this many years ago.
Yeah, they-
We actually didn't do it. But Barrington probably did this 5, 6 years ago. Belmar probably did it 5 or 6 years ago. Lindenwood did it 10 years ago, right? Because they needed it
They
to push.
collect over $500,000 per year just on the
Yeah.
inspections.
But it's what they needed to do.
And again, it's a safety issue. We always run across it. You'd be surprised. You go in it next year, the place is torn apart. It could be a boiler. Now we got in there, if we know it's a boiler in there, guess what? Now we can let the fire at least know, hey, apartment 1215 has a boiler. It's a problem. Be careful when you go in there. Hey, the floors are cut off. I mean, I've seen that where when in an apartment, they cut the floors out because their drug deals are going out through the crawl space.
And the other thing we also have in town is we've got homes throughout our community that are rented. And we require people to do a landlord registration, which also protects them, because if they do a landlord registration, they're now allowed to evict someone. But if you're not registered as a landlord, you have no legal right to evict
And
anyone.
most of the time, the judges will
Throw it out, because you're not a landlord. So we have to, educate people to become registered, it protects them. And then, but then it does make them subject to our inspection, but then our inspection protects them, because if we go in there,
Usually, once you do an inspection every year, and they do have a turnaround and tenant, usually it's, less things fail. It's not,
Yeah.
boy, you fail, yeah, some will fail. But you'll notice your list will go down on failures, especially when you charge them. You're gonna make sure it's not guaranteed.
yeah.
Well, you know, as long as the people know what we're going to be doing when we
Yes.
go there.
Yeah, we have
That-
to all
that-
advertise on the
Yeah.
website, so everybody knows.
Really,
They
so
send
they know.
notices. That's what we
But then
go
it wouldn't
for.
it wouldn't be fair.
No,
We send
And that's
notices
what's
out.
gonna
And these,
happen now. That's
these-
what's gonna happen. They're gonna know.
and these apartment owners,
Yeah, we would
we're
just-
late to the game.
Yeah, they
It's
know.
been going
Apartment
around.
complexes, we get it, I recommend that we send a letter out stating, hey, March 1st, as of now, this is what we're doing, be prepared.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do? Do a resolution?
Well, we have a whole,
Oh,
And just give you an example,
Ordinance.
what you can see, we got based it on 115 rentals, we're going out to 1,200, at times $60, brings you $66,900. But keep in mind, we might have to bring more personnel to do that, because we're talking annual inspections all year, so that's something you gotta think about.
and we've done that in the past, but we brought in help
Yeah.
to go do housing.
Just did, Diane's overloaded now, I'm telling you right now. So
Go do,
no way
go do
to
500,
anymore.
300 some at presidential, 200 some at Meadows.
Unless you want to start increasing, then, yeah.
You're a union rep, I see.
I didn't say I'm a union, I'm saying I'm a union.
So, I guess,
I'm agreeable, I think we should go move forward with this. But, like I said, I want our people to know, I want our.
Well, what would happen is
locals to know.
first reading, second reading, 2 months out. So we would actually, once the first reading comes in, I would recommend start, let them know.
This is a really big change.
Oh, it is, no doubt.
well,
Sorry, we
No
didn't know.
doubt,
that's
no
where-
doubt about it,
that's
it's a
where-
really big
Yeah,
change.
so that's where I'm at with giving this out tonight. I feel like we all need to take a look at this and digest it a little bit, and then we'll move forward on it from there.
Mayor, I
That's how I
have to be,
Did you want to report anything?
I'll defer to my council
Do you
report.
want to say anything about these numbers, or is that something different?
That's the next thing we need to talk about.
In case you don't.
We have something else?
No, just the other thing that, we were gonna propose changes.
Go a little bit.
Yeah, go
about
over,
that,
you know.
Okay, one of the things, our numbers of our buildings, first of all, in our ordinance, it says 3 inches, code's 4 inches, so we need 4 inches.
Oh, you're talking about the numbers on the address numbers.
Yeah.
So what, this one's one I wrote for another town.
I was confused, I'm a sign guy, what about pre-existing homes? You're gonna make them change their
If
numbers
it's
if
a
they
single
sell?
family, okay, if it does inspection, you need 4-inch numbers, okay, if we have ordinance. If it's a triplex, numbers gotta be front and back. If it's got a storage room or HVAC, let's say storage, you gotta put 2 inches of that, in storage, usually it's 2 inches in the back. So fire call or police don't get in there, all of a sudden they see a 6-panel door, it's like, they go to kick the door, and guess what, the storage room, I'm sticking that.
So you're, all right, so you're looking at when change of use happens, those kind of things.
Yeah, in other words, as we go on.
Or sales, yeah.
Sales and rentals, even apartment complexes, when they're done in the old town. Police and fire loved it, because if there's a fire or emergency,
See the big
let's say
numbers.
there's 10
Any
units.
special color?
Well, it has to be a contrast color.
It says contrast, it actually says contrasting colors.
So if I was looking at the building, somebody said, somebody's trapped in the third one from the left, and you go around back, and you look around, it says third from the left, from the front or back, now you're in the wrong door, so just wait 30 seconds. So that's the reason, and it's not marked apartments if there's windows, it's only if they have a door in the back, a patio. We can't make them put numbers next to every window in the back. So if the apartment complex had a deck.
You're talking about building numbers
Building numbers for.
and then address numbers.
Address numbers.
Because there might be 10 buildings, so there's 1 through 10.
I ran
and
across
there's-
one in town, and they finally ordered new numbers, but I found out they still.
Usually it's the fire marshal who pushes this.
2-inch numbers, but they don't do the apartments.
That's not a joke.
Okay. And the other thing part in there is, which I added, which is for the old town, it wasn't in there, and I added it in for them, was businesses. So if there's a business, not so much a single business, but if you had a business to say 4 units connected, you need the number of the building unit on the back and front door and the business name. So you know B is Domino's Pizza, okay? And if they move out, guess what? They got to put a new name on the dock. A lot of times you run across that, where you paint the doors and now they don't have it on
Yes.
there. Okay? So that's basically.
I think we can easily change that. I know you gave
It's
us that.
pretty easy to change if you go by all the wording in here. I mean, theirs happened to be 92-1, where yours is 104-3. I guess the attorney would have to address yours. There you go, Howard, there's maybe some more work.
Yeah.
Howard for that.
That's right, I'm sorry. I was going to used to deal with that all the time.
Apologize.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I apologize for him.
So that's basically it. You asked about the color visibility, it's got to be a contrast color. You can't put it, when we had that happen, put black and white around building. Yeah, police and fire have to see it from the road, and you pass a building that has, let's say, a single family home, and you pass it 5 in a row, guess what? I've done no inspections, it's like, I'm at the wrong house, because I'm trying to figure out which one.
Yeah.
We don't always go every.
No, it's a good idea.
15, 15.
It's another thing we could have done 30 years ago.
Okay.
We're on it.
Okay.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Was there anything else?
See what else is there.
We're going to skip public safety, public events, anything?
Oh, jeez, you really want me?
Keep it simple.
Nothing simple.
Oh,
Should
the
I go
library.
over the library?
Briefly, yeah.
Briefly,
Let 'em know
give
we
a
met.
little synopsis of what took place. Nick and I met with Keith and Ken at the library on Friday night, and, to see, what their game plan was, and the mayor was, they were pretty good on them, I'll tell you.
It was nice.
Yeah, you were very nice, nicer than me, but anyway, no. Anyway, they would like to have more events in the senior center, so I've asked Eleanor to give me the days and the times that she has. I've asked the seniors to give me that so that I can give that to them.
So the library wants to utilize the
The
senior
library wants
center
to utilize the
when
senior
no one else is
center
using
when
it.
nobody else is using it for activities, say game night or something like that. They have, Nick was talking to them about extending, their hours, and I also expressed my concern about the fact that they are closed when schools are closed, and I would like to see that open, so they kind of putting that in their heads. We do need a defibrillator, I believe, in there. I think we should have one.
I think it's definitely something we should look at in all the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, especially.
So we were there and there was a box, someone had donated it, but it was empty.
Police officers have defibrillators in their cars, do they not?
We have one.
Okay, so they used to have one. I remember talking to Fred Laverty. They used to have one in the library. There's a box, but it's empty.
The battery.
So how do we go
We
about
have
it?
two choices. We can pay for it, or
Okay.
we can ask for it, get a grant for it, or donation.
Or
It's
how about
actually-
donation? Yeah, okay, all right.
Because that
So I
particular
want-
one was donated to the library.
Yes, yeah, the Women's Club do a good job of that.
And that's where organizations could be helpful,
They, yeah.
helping the
Uh-huh.
library.
So we really do need to have a defibrillator in there. The instructions on using it is simple, so, especially with our seniors and people going in there.
Well, for the whole building.
Yeah, especially, we have the RYAA in there with all the groups. Let's see. They were talking about fax and copy charges. The charges have been the same for 15 years. And of course, the mayor said, well, let's increase them.
And why did I say that? Because what they said is,
Well, what you did say was to see what the county's charging.
well, I also said what they said is people take advantage.
Yes.
Because you see how Wayne just said, we're not charging for reinspection, so why not do that? So when you're charging $1 for a copy,
Right, it's.
people are
right.
coming in using it as an office. We need to be reasonable, but we can't become an office deep, well, it was like, they're like Staples. They're spending their time helping people, which is fine. They need to at least have a price that makes sense. $1 is really cheap.
Yeah, and then they have they were explaining to us that it's beautiful in there, and they explained to us that they have many out-of-towners that go in, and they have work meetings. They don't encourage you to eat or drink in there, but I guess if you bring a coffee while you're trying to read, I guess that's okay. They would like to have higher speed internet with Comcast. So I believe they were going to send Shelley a couple emails.
I sent an email to her already.
Yes, okay. To that, they have a new room. It used to be Kathy, our librarian's office. They changed it into a meeting room. It's very pretty, very lovely. And you can reserve a room. Now, what I didn't ask them, maybe if you want to reserve that room for a meeting or something, does it have to be during library hours?
I would guess yes, because that was the argument we used to always have.
Yeah. So, okay.
So that's what you should do for us. Book a night and see if they'll open it for you.
Well, they had us there,
They said they had you
but
guys.
just during the day.
It was during the day.
Yeah.
So one of the arguments is when they close at 4 o'clock, wouldn't it be nice to have a little meeting for a chamber meeting or a library meeting or anybody
It's a
getting there?
really beautiful room.
So one of the things I did today, I was reading the county's library hours, and we're only open 36 hours a week. The county's open 57 hours a week. Now, that means personnel, that's where the difficulty is. And they don't like to have less than 2 people, which I agree with. There should always be 2 people.
Yes, they want 2 people, nothing less than that. And as far as the events, the mayor had asked them, like, if you were having events in the senior center, who would be watching, And they said they have a lot of volunteers that want to come in and help out, or maybe they would just have to close the library.
Or maybe the volunteers would have been in the library for a meeting.
So, yeah, so, they have a lot of digital borrowing online, access to ebooks. ebooks and audiobooks through the Libby. They have a lot of museum passes too, which is really good. So if you need a pass to go to a museum, they have them there. So their calendar just needs to be updated with the seniors and with the women's club. There's a couple other things, but.
Anything else for events?
Of course there's things for events. Let me just go through my book here. Okay, I had a lady who called me. Yeah. She had a father. She's an elderly. She's a senior now. She had a father. He was here from 1939. His name is, I won't even give his name. But she wants to do something permanent in honor of him. And what she would love to do is put a bench on Broadway and the Black Horse Pike, because that's where he stood every day to get a bus to go to work. So she would like to do that.
So the green team, I'll stop you right there. The green team wants to do benches. They should get a price. She could make a donation for the bench, and we could put some type of a plaque on there in honor of her dad.
That sounds good. How about that?
I love that idea.
Okay, all right, for that. And also, she also had a brother who was very handicapped, and he was blind, and she would also like to do something for him. Of course, her suggestion was to get a dog, a seeing eye dog for someone, but we know that there's thousands of dollars, but you know, so I hope I look into that.
There was Best Work Industry for the Blind. Do you remember they were in town? I don't know where they moved to, but you could find them.
Okay. Well, you know what? How about if I check with the Rotary Club? Maybe they can help out or something. Do they know anybody? You don't know anybody? All right. Well, I'll look for somebody. I'll look for somebody if anybody can think about that. But I will, if you could, I guess, get me a price tag. Yeah.
Russell Burt was the past president of the Rotary.
Yeah. Well, Tara is now. I think Tara's the president now. So, all right. So, what would we do with this? So, we're going to be getting benches.
I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, so what?
Oh, okay. So you talk about it, and then I'll explain it to her. She's going to call me again. So she was, you know, I told her about the flags that are on the poles because he was a veteran also. But she wants something permanent that's going to stay there and not move. I don't know how long the flags are going to be up there. I have no clue. Okay, so we are talking about the next events that are coming up. Is going to be our Easter Parade, which will be, mark this down, Easter Parade, mark this down, guys. Easter Parade, April 19th. Most likely at noon, April 19th, we'll be riding through town with the Easter Bunny. Our YMCA, will probably our meeting on June 3rd. Will you be here, Mayor, on June 3rd? Yeah, because you're going away when? April?
Going away in April.
Okay. So we got our Easter Parade coming up. We have our Youth Mayor and Council coming up. And I think that is, we have early voting, which will be June 6th to June 8th. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then on Sunday it'll be 10 to 6. Am I correct in that? Sounds, yeah, okay. I looked that up. Right now, I think that's it. Moving along, progress. Anybody else have anything? Okay, all right, I think that's it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
You want to wait because engineering Bob's not here? I'll just come around. All right, Public Works, Mr. White. Sahara, okay. Nice. We'll jump back, Parks and Rec. Anything?
Just registration starting for softball and baseball.
Okay.
Basketball's doing well. We got a couple applications to use the field.
And you talked to them about the lights and all a little bit, more detail with the lights.
Did they ever send any?
I don't remember getting a letter from them. No, there's no letter, so you've got to get a letter from them. Supporting the lights. Well, give them my number.
I'll talk to them again. And I'm going to have a meeting with a baseball commissioner next week, sometime next week.
Any input they can give.
I'll let you know we can make it. I'll talk to her and see what they know what they're moving forward. Stuff like that. And the rest of the progress.
All right, solicitor, anything?
I'll take the next one.
And we'll go to engineering and public works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So you can yell at them.
I submitted my reporting ready, just to cover anything that's been updated since our last report. Under the DOT 2024 project on Mitchell Avenue, we submitted our plans, specifications, and engineer's estimate to the DOT local aid. Assuming we get concurrence on that, we're going to go out to bid, so hopefully we'll be on construction in the spring. The DPW drainage improvements, the project's currently out to bid. We're going to receive bids next Tuesday. That gives us 60 days to award it. So in that interim, we're going to meet with CCMUA to discuss financing. And
You mean after we get
after we get bids, we're going to meet with CCMUA to discuss financing, see what they can contribute, and whether Shelley can find the money to award. Well, we have 60 days to award, which would be at the April meeting, I believe. So that gives us time to do that. The Harding Avenue and Payne Avenue, the DOT 2023 project, we passed the resolution for the change order tonight, and we had, I believe Shelley made final payment last January, so we should be able to close that out with DOT now and get your final 25% reimbursement on that job. And under general engineering, we're currently working to look at lighting at your municipally owned ball fields. So we're going to be working with a vendor to see if we can get cost estimates and concept for those fields. Open space around 24, they made announcements. We did get the $25,000 grant for the open space for additional lighting at Vanilla Park. This is just decorative lighting.
Okay.
I don't know if you need us to assist with putting that out for bid, or whether we can do it under a state contract.
When you drew it all, did you have all the lights on that original plan?
Yeah.
You did. So we just have to circle the ones that are missing.
Put it out to bid and do that.
Say go for bid and just, I mean, the only thing I'll say with this is, if the bids come in ridiculous again, we gotta maybe push back or wait. I don't know what to do. I think we really, they charged us a lot that last time. It's such a small amount. The mobilization will kill us on mobilization costs. You know, what's that? Is that what they were loaded? Yeah,
But
right?
unfortunately, we only get $25,000 with these grants, so it's not like we can, the county doesn't let us group them together anymore either.
So, do you remember how we started to put decorative lights to the fields as you go into the park? And the idea is someone can pull all the way down, turn around, come all the way back, and they'll have lights on. They're only decorative lights. And then there's a light that takes you to the back soccer fields. So these are just decorative, so people get out. We were having problems when the kids were down there. We had the temporary electric down there, the portable lights, and then it'd be dark, and they'd be walking out with their cell phones. So we've won many grants, but the last few bids have come in really bad because they're so small.
We're gonna get 5 lights, so.
They're just killing us, to pour, 5 yards of concrete.
But we can pull that together. And then you took care of the local rec, grant, that deadline for that still this Friday, so we'll get that put together and get a resolution from that. Tonight's resolution for that local rec grant. And the sewer extension project on Davis Road, we submitted payment application number 9 on January 3rd. And we also sent change order number 3 to DEP to get their blessing on that. And right now, the project's sort of on hold pending better weather to do the paving. I believe TSMG is working on getting additional power to the Evergreen pump station. I think work started this week on that, so.
So once the electric is in, when will we be able to turn on the pumps?
Well, they have to put all the.
There's still more?
There's still more to go.
Okay, so it's not just the electric turning it on.
But they need that electric there to make the next stage,
So we're getting close.
so we're getting close. And then we'll.
Because one of the things is, once the electric's done, we could send letters out to everybody to get prepped for the sewer connections. We don't have to wait till the road is paved for people to start applying. And that was one thing that Shelley and I talked a lot about tonight, was just to jump on you, remember last time we were arguing about this sewer thing? We want to send letters out to all the residents in that area and telling them what the process is. I know there's a construction aspect to it, but there's still a sewer aspect to it. We've got to get them on the bill list, and we have to notify CCMUA. So we got to finalize that. But if you think we're getting a little closer with PSE&G, we got to get on this thing.
Right, and I believe Steve Box said he's working to get the local agreement with Barrington for people to be in Barrington tied into our system.
Yes,
So he's working.
he already called to make sure that the CCMU connection there was some, because we have to actually still get everybody to fill out an application.
Right.
Even though they're waiving the fee, Steve wanted to make sure that that was clear. So they'll have to fill out an application, and then the county will waive the connection fee.
Right. But we still have to coordinate with the Barrington residents that will be tied to one system.
Yeah. Should we have a shared service already?
Yeah, when they ran that service, they put laterals over in Barrington.
So there are laterals everywhere. So we did laterals all directions. So,
Okay, so we absorbed that.
no,
Fine now.
no, actually, what we've got is, we've got a kind of a shared service with this. They're gonna pay their portion of the asphalt. They may not be paying for the laterals though, are they? Yes, we have 10 laterals that we brought across the street, but they're gonna be connected to our system. And we agreed with the county that we would waive that connection fee on those residents. But then they're gonna be paying us the $198 a year. But they're gonna compensate us for the additional sewer work we did for them. We connected to one of their lines. They're gonna pay for their asphalt, and then they would also like to pay for half of a traffic calming light. Do you remember when we talked about this a little bit? So the mayor reminded me about that again.
Traffic calming light. It's just the speed.
The speed lights.
It's like they have on Uxbridge Road. It says you're going
Oh,
55, it flashes.
Oh.
It doesn't do anything, it just tells you how fast you're going.
Yes, it does, it slows you down.
I don't know.
So, yeah, we have two.
It's something.
I believe
Because
we have-
speed bumps, I got too many pushback on speed bumps.
I believe we have two of those in the contract.
There are two in the contract. The last thing I wanted to bring up, so we are getting compensated for, we have a shared service with Barrington. They're gonna compensate us for the asphalt, they're gonna compensate us for the light, they're gonna compensate us for the sewer part that they did. You're right, the laterals we put in on ours, we could talk to them about it, but I don't know. And, because we did do a couple extra laterals for that. There were two, and wherever there was an empty house, we brought extra laterals.
So you provide them to the lot.
Yes, to the lot, right? We did a couple extra laterals. But there was something that was brought up to me was the hammerheads at the end. You know, trying to make them as big as possible so the trash trucks and fire trucks can turn around as much as possible.
We'll maximize it.
Even though I saw that fence that went up for the water company, you know, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be able to turn a whole fire truck around, but at least an ambulance and a trash truck at the end of these streets. And then remember you and I met with the one house there. We have,
It's gotta be big.
we have 40 feet of right of way.
Right. We're putting basically 40 foot by 40 foot hammerheads in what we get.
It's not bad.
Yeah, kind of how people feel.
They have no choice.
Living in a home.
It's not their
Oh,
home.
all right. I know that.
It's the right of way of the street.
Yeah,
It's not the, you know,
yeah. I know.
it's not like the
So
sidewalk.
you have to go to acquire the property.
No, the other thing is back in that neighborhood, people just kind
Took it
of
over.
annexed it.
Yeah.
And we did say we would be nice to the one neighbor at the end on Sunset to try to help them out because they go around their house. They'll just have to go around and come in on the hammerhead. We have to pour a little grass for it. The concrete aprons on Evergreen, that still has to be done,
Right.
correct?
They're going out this spring when they come back with paving.
Okay.
And I believe they're looking for Barrington wants to do additional curb.
So Barrington's putting all new aprons in on Davis and Kerr. Is that a change order on us?
Well, it's going to be reimbursed by Barrington.
Okay. Because Barrington made a deal with, what did they make a deal with? They're paving all the way to the end of Davis now, right?
They're putting that out to bid.
So they're putting that out to bid. Oh, they're not doing a change order from our guy? Okay.
Because.
So Magnolia's side's getting paved as part of the laydown yard negotiation. Barrington side is going out to bid, and then the change order for the...
Because they're using grant money for that portion, so they can't do it as a change order.
Gotcha. So I had hammerheads, concrete aprons, trees, do we still have to deal with that at this point? We have a lot of trees. Okay. We have a lot of trees. Okay.
Now, do you take them trees and plant on other areas? I'm about to say no.
We have a minimum that we have to plant. The question is, we're not gonna be able to get them all on Sunset or Davis or Sunnybrook or, you know. People are gonna punch the, push back on some of these trees. Okay. That's all I have. Is that right?
That's all I have to.
Did you have anything for him? I do have one more, well, I want to talk about civil solutions to Mark. I want him to know about that. And we'll prove that in next month, but I want Mark to know about civil solutions.
Mark, if you can give me a scope of work for the lights that you're looking at getting done and possibly put out the bid for Vanilla Park. We had just come across a state contract electrical vendor that the CCMUA's been using.
You're talking about the decorators?
The decorators down at the park. So maybe we can look to see what that price is compared to our last bid and then see if we have to save it from going out.
Yeah, I think that last bid was terrible.
So, I mean, just to show the different numbers for that. Far as the lights at all the parks, tomorrow I'm doing a site review with Musco Lighting.
Okay.
Just, we're doing a walk around at all the
You
facilities.
know Musco, you work with that, right?
Yes.
From the league and that, we're just going around looking at all the facilities and then they're going to start putting stuff together. So that can be passed on into your office, that they're going to have all the pictures.
What time are you meeting?
Supposed to be 10:30, 11 o'clock.
I had aerials of the parks. Do you want me to get those to you before 10:30?
If possible, I'll send somebody over to grab them in the morning.
Can you give me till 9:30?
Okay.
Yeah.
Taken care of.
Anything else for,
Make it 10.
Thanks for starting.
Do you want me to just talk on a couple other items for Public Works?
well, let me just finish up, the civil solutions, do you want to, I want Mark to know, so one of the things we're doing, everyone in the audience, is we are reassessing every home in the town. We're required to by the county. But one of the first steps, if you remember, we talked about was the maps. And so we're going to use civil solutions to do the maps. But we are asking you guys to help them, because you have some of it. And you, help me out here, civil solutions, this is all they do, correct?
I don't know.
He's so political.
I haven't dealt with them,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we're going to go with civil solutions, only because we're working with the assessor. He wants to use civil solutions. They're going to do all the 3,000 parcels. They'll do all the adjustments that need to be made. Their price was very, very reasonable. I think it was $5,000. But you have to provide the original GIS stuff that you have.
We have CAD files.
You have CAD files? Okay. So that's the only thing. We're going to probably sign a contract at the next meeting. I should have brought that on. But at the next Tuesday's council meeting, we're going to award civil solutions to do the mapping of the entire town. Okay, and then it's probably a good 12 months before the assessments will all be done. And nobody should be nervous about the assessments. It should be very good for all of us because it's just going to balance out this crazy price change that's happening. So if a house is assessed at $160,000 paying $7,500 in property taxes, it may be assessed at $320,000, but still pay $7,500, in property taxes. You understand how that works?
No. I have no idea. I thought we went up on the more tax.
So the tax rate right now is like 4.503.
Okay.
But what's happening is we're out of whack. Homes are selling for much more than what we have in assessment.
Correct.
The county sends us a letter saying, you guys are way out of whack. Because remember, our taxes, 28% stays with the borough, 22% goes to the county, and 50% goes to the schools. There's formulas with Trenton High School, there's formulas with the county. We're out of whack. We need to get closer to real value. So our average home right now is assessed at 165, right? Is it 165? I don't remember. So it's 165. That number will change to say $350, but the tax rate will go from $4 and it'll go in half to $2. So that's why you'll just, when you multiply it, it'll be the same end number. Now what can happen is certain properties have increased in value more than other properties. They may see an increase. Some properties actually see a decrease. The last time we did this was in 2013. And when we did it, we got very few complaints because what happened was the commercial buildings and the apartments were way underassessed. For example, Metropolitan at the time was paying $100,000 less in property taxes than after the reassessment because we had it undervalued so much. So they went up $100,000. They went to take us to court. When they submitted all their papers, we didn't raise them enough. They walked out because we were still low. And so we had very few appeals. I think we had less than 6 appeals out of 3,000 properties. Okay, does that make sense? I think it's important, and I'm going to tell you why. You guys are listening to me, you have to listen to me, I'm talking. So if you guys look at your regional tax bill from the high school, we've been getting killed lately because of the way the formula is designed. It's the amount of kids we send, it's the values of our homes, and the taxes we collect. And right now, we only have one person that is on our vote. Pat Wilson is the only person who votes for Runnemede. There are 7 from Gloucester Township and and 2 from Belmont.
One from Belmont.
One from Belmont. And the solicitors here won't say anything, but the guys from Gloucester Township kind of stick together, so they weren't about to lower the tax rate.
Completely disagree with that, but we'll have another conversation for another time. Pat is considered an equal and does a wonderful
Well,
job.
Pat is president this year, which is very good for the borough, that she's there representing us, but we've had a couple really, really bad years with the high school tax rate. So it should be positive. All right, what else? Was there any, who's left? Harry, you didn't go yet, right?
Real short.
All right, Harry, what do you got?
Progress. Progress with PSE&G. So I
You know,
do thank you for that
It
assistance.
worked. I was a little concerned, just so everyone knows, we had a lot of lights out town, a lot of broken lights. I was a little confused by the one email that they want us to sign a contract for more lights. They were all existing lights.
Those, I do believe, are poles that, there's a pole next to them that has the light out. So they're just going by, there's no light on the pole. So if you want to put a light on there, it needs an existing contract.
All right, so we don't want
So
to,
we don't want that. So I told them that.
but we're still missing the one decorative light right in front of the
One,
mount.
one decorative is on back order, they're trying to get it, and then we have 27 or 25 lights that are out, that's been continuous for 2 years. They're all marked, everybody who goes down the pike can see the green tape, please leave it on it. And so PSE&G can see, hey, these poles are out when they don't go through during nighttime. So, like I said, we have documentation of their act since 2023 of putting them in, it's supposed to be repaired in 48 hours, and it hasn't been done. So I just keep pushing it because it's our labor going out there to do it, their work. And we also have to pay tariff every month for every street light in town. So,
And you want to talk about Smith Lane at all, so people know what happened?
Smith Lane, not this past Saturday before the snowstorm, my staff started at 10:30 in the morning. We wound up with a sewer break on Smith Lane. We did find the culprit from when they ran the storm pipe back 20 years ago down there from the state, the manhole conflict and so forth. But with it, all the bouncing on the road and all, we had an 80-foot section of terracotta. The bottom of it was all broken out, so we replaced manhole to manhole. Took us to 12:10 in the morning. Mr. White came out and the mayor, Mr. White betted that we'll be out there until 1 a.m. So I did let him know that's what time I did get home. It was a very cold night out there. We did get hot asphalt. We had to get it all the way from Farmingdale, 2.5 hours up the road. The only plant that was open. So with that, we did get...
Is that Trapper?
No, different company up there. Yeah. So with that, we did have emergency contract come in, which, you know, the sewer rates are going up because our structure is getting old and...
Well, that repair, tell me how much that repair cost?
That repair was $32,200 for a contractor to come in and replace 80 feet.
I said 25, you said 35, it came in.
Right. So I mean, we got to be prepared for it, and it will happen. Let's see, sewer repair. Had the snowstorm thereafter, the night afterwards, so we were back out and about. We're doing tree collection right now, PCC lights, park lights, and contract. We have 3 guys with, you know, doing our exercise and our shared service agreements. We have 3 guys in CDL training with Gloucester Township, DPW, that's going well right now. So that's for the full-timers that we brought in. Working on some other items and been working closely with Councilman White, so we've been communicating and look forward for future success with everything we're doing.
Good. All right, let's keep going then. Let's do payment of bills. Someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the monthly bills.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Murray. Roll call, please.
Ms. Passio?
Yes.
Mr. Spiro?
Yes.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
4 ayes, 0 absent.
All right, before we do good and vote, anything, Chief?
I'm good.
Anything, Shelley?
Quickly, yes, actually.
Microphone.
If anyone is interested in seeing any of our monthly or quarterly SED reports for the sanitary sewer extension project, just let me know. We are filing them on a monthly and quarterly basis. I do send them to the Finance Committee, but if anyone else would like to see them. We are currently at 75% of our cost for that project. Our statutory annual reports are now coming due, so by the time we meet next Tuesday, we will have filed our annual debt statement. So I will send that out to everyone as soon as it's complete, which will be before the end of this week. Our UCC LEA report, which is for our construction department, is due February 10th. I'm just waiting for the last 2 bits of information from the construction department, and I will file that and send it out. Our recycling contract, I just wanted to clarify that for everybody, with our cooperative with the county, is actually a 10-year contract. That's the term, which is actually great news.
That is great news.
Yes, and that's all I have.
And just so everyone knows about the sewer project, what she's talking about is we have a loan with the state. It's a low-interest loan. And ironically, so everyone knows this, I don't want to get too political, but we are supposed to be getting $2 million from the federal government. But as of yesterday, the $2 million has been now held up. So I hope
development
that they will.
stayed by a federal judge today.
It was stayed?
It was stayed.
Okay, because we were promised this amount of money. Well,
No promise.
it was
earmarked.
It's earmarked,
There.
and the $600,000 for the fire department. So we're hoping that things that were in the budget do not come out of the budget. That's what we're hoping. So that's good news. That's really good.
For now.
For now. So, anything else? That it? Okay. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please give your name and address.
All right.
It's the usual suspects. Look at him, he's good.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey everyone, so Kathy Gregory Walker, Runnemede, New Jersey. The Runnemede Chamber would like to ask for the pipe jam dates for May. We have a date of May 10th. The time would be 2 to 8, so we're going to end it a little early so that we can encourage people to go to local bars. That's the idea for that one.
Great idea.
Same deal, we're going to work Barrington again. So, any questions?
I mean, Dan, I saw the date, the only thing that I keep saying is our calendar. We just gotta, seniors.
I did see that your rain date is for June 21st, and that's our senior meeting. That's going to be their last meeting, so I plan on having a big to-do, so.
Okay.
But they're a little bit before you, they're 12 o'clock.
It doesn't matter, Nick, because they go out there on Fridays to clean up and set up, and I would like to.
So could you pick a different day than the 21st?
Pick a different rain date.
Hopefully it don't be.
I was going to say, hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
But we will pick a different rain date because we would like to have that in advance so we don't run through what we did last time.
So set something formal so the police, fire, Beth, everybody knows what's going on. I don't think council has any objections to that date.
I just want to know, what is the business's responsibility on the pipe jam for our town?
The individual businesses? What do you
Yeah,
mean?
well, we're providing our police officers, our public works, and of course it's overtime because it's on a Saturday now.
Mhm.
So, I don't even know, does anyone, I'm sure you know, but, maybe you know, but what
Well, the
is it costing
businesses donate,
What is it costing Runnemede to have these projects?
costing us as a sponsor,
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
probably couple $1,000.
I haven't seen any figures.
I mean, chief,
Yes.
you have any idea what the last one cost us?
Well, it was me out there.
Okay.
It was also Figueroa at his SLEO2 rate, and then I think it was me and him the whole night, and then I had somebody out there for a couple hours.
We could probably come up with a good number. I mean, the most expensive would
I
probably
think
be
it's-
public works.
I mean, is your argument that it's not worth it, or you just want to know
No,
what
I just want to know.
A cost.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
obviously, we're sponsors, we want to be part of this.
Right.
But I agree, you want to know what it costs, I think
Yeah,
Shelley's could probably
we have a
break
right
it down.
We have a right to know, it is
Yeah.
the residents that are paying for this, right? Tax
And the
dollars.
chamber's going to be supportive on some of
So-
our other
Of
projects.
course,
We're going to help
I'd like
Green
to
Team
know.
with their benches.
of course.
Okay, so, also, another thing. You do borrow our tables and chairs.
Yes.
Can you please wash them very, very, because for the reorg,
Yeah.
we got them back. And our public works and myself, we had to scrub them. They were in terrible condition. Is there water there? So,
There's one. What about putting something on
Harry,
top? Is it tough to put
you
a
saw them.
tablecloth?
Yeah,
little
the
clips on
the wear and tear is really good.
especially. So if you can protect the tables.
Tables and chairs.
Anything else? How's the chamber doing?
Good, good. We're getting back into the 2025 school. We have our new dates coming up for meetings and networking events, so we'll be hearing a lot of new stuff on the website.
I'll be happy to come and get beat up for an hour.
All right, yeah, we're
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
you
that too.
I did love it, you're right.
I know you though.
It was really good. It was very good.
Sure, okay.
Can we, yeah, Harry, your question?
Just want to make sure we do good long-term planning for this, because unfortunately, they've been in touch with Mike Kearney, our safety coordinator, and Eleanor's not here, but there's a lot of new stuff coming down to us after the incident in New Orleans for any outside activities around traffic. So we are going to have to really sit down and come up with plans and everything else and really address this properly.
Well, we do have some, if you remember during COVID, we had those blocks. I don't know if you've used them all.
We used all the
You used
blocks.
them all.
Yeah, we're probably.
Well, it may be something to think about. Maybe Chief, you look at that. Maybe we do put some safety measures in. So if you remember during COVID, we were able to get concrete.
Barriers or whatever you
They're
call
thin
them.
block.
Thin blocks, these big concrete blocks. And we had the ability to put them up. And we could use them to block that street if you think that's important.
Yeah, but then they're not quickly to move that way, so we might.
No, they're not quickly to move at all.
Yeah, because we still have to gain access for police, fire, EMS, so we might have to go with the other water-filled barrels and stuff, which we were able to get on the last one, borrow from the county, but we can't all the time.
Okay.
Okay, but there's another thing out there, I don't know if you can start looking possibly for somebody to donate and all, but to donate rental of chairs and tables, because our stuff going outside is really taking a toll, and it's gonna start damaging the floor inside.
Okay, you can look into rent.
We rent tables and chairs sometimes, when we do our different events. Some
Yeah,
things.
I mean, we can definitely do that.
But we definitely have to pre-plan now for the traffic stuff.
So what's a good time, Harry, for pre-planning? How much in advance? So this is May. So we-
And now.
Now,
So,
now.
okay.
So we need to get, we should have actually a sit-down meeting within the next 30,
I mean, we could put a
45
fire
days.
truck out there, right? Or a trash truck. I was on Broad Street, they put a trash truck to keep me from going down Broad
You
Street.
saw what they did to that, didn't you?
What'd they do to the trash truck?
They destroyed it.
No, they did.
Yeah.
It was people-
I saw that trash truck guy. Wow. I don't think they'll destroy it at the pipe jam.
It's not that kind of crowd usually. I mean, I think we have a big problem if that happens.
But we should have a sit-down prior, like,
Yeah.
end of February into March, just to sit down and start moving on.
When did they attack the trash?
You can email me some dates and then I'll disperse it to everybody involved in safety and events.
Say how do I do it?
Yeah, just send it to me.
Sounds good.
Let's have our
Support
first
and all,
meeting.
we just want to make sure we cover it.
Yeah, no. We want to get better time before we plan for it.
Yeah, just a start.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
That's got the time.
Also note, we, by PSE&G, just so you're aware, we can't put the banners back up across Clemens Bridge Road because it keeps getting wrapped up in the electric wires. So they actually put a ban on us, just so everybody knows up front on that.
So banners are gonna be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. So, I'm going to talk about two things today. February 14th, which is 2 weeks from now, there's the Sustainable Jersey grants. We have to put the application through. And so there's three grants, 20,000, 10,000, and 2,000. So we're going to do a $2,000 grant asking for money for health fair. You know, forget it. The 20,000, we were thinking it might be 20,000 maybe. Harry, you could help us with this. We were thinking of 4 benches, nice benches, like those metal benches you see in Barrington along.
Yeah, well, we need to come up with a nice design, yeah.
Yeah, so 4 of them, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. And then beside it, there will be like some nice trash.
Yeah.
Something nice that matches.
Yep.
And then on this side, just a 2-station bike rack. Because I have seen people who use those huts for the transportation to wait for bus. A couple of them, I've seen them just throw their bike on the ground. And people have to start their bikes.
Well, get some costs about those pieces and show them to us.
Yes.
And then, because the one thing I'll say is I think that'll make a good application is Borough says we're gonna be paved, you know, if we'll say that we'll do the install, or we'll do the concrete or something like that, I think that makes for a good application. Because
Right,
they're always looking for in-kind
right.
or monetary contribution.
Well, this, I didn't see that here, but
But
it's
it's
good
good to
thing.
put in there, yes.
Yes, so say they'll do the installation and all that. And then I was thinking that it could be really pretty for the Centennial, if it's fairly close to a lamppost, doesn't have to be red, you know. And then we could put a little flower basket hanging, that would be,
And you heard about the woman who wanted to do something for her family.
yes.
So that could be another one. We can
Yes,
say that in the, well, I don't think that's gonna be application.
that would be nice. And then, it should be nice flowers coming up on the trees that what's his name, Russ planted, and, you know, some other ideas. Okay, so the thing is, I was gonna ask Harry.
What was the third one? You said health fair,
And
grants?
the help, so you can only apply for 2 of the 3 grants.
Oh,
If you wind up getting a large grant, which we would use for the tables, the benches, they wouldn't give us the 2.
okay.
But they would let us have the 2 if we just, you know, they'll look at us again for the 2 if we don't get the 20. So we'll see what happens.
Could you look in a grant for an electrical vehicle?
Yes, we need that.
Because
Ours is coming
the
up.
code enforcement, the Yaris I'm hearing is ending its life. Is anybody aware of that? Our Yaris?
I thought I heard something about
You hear that, Dan?
Yes.
You were complaining about the
Oh,
Yaris?
yeah, I was just getting to the
And
end.
if maybe if we have an extra pickup truck or something, because with all this code enforcement,
Down to.
we're down to,
All right.
you know, chief, maybe we.
There's a lot of police cars out
A
there.
lot of police cars.
I think we could
The
easily
magnets on it.
probably take over one of those police cars.
But if you could look at the EV, because we're talking about our code enforcement and things like that,
Okay.
housing inspector,
Okay. I'll try to put
and the fact that we've already got a charger here, we already have one electric vehicle.
May as well. Okay. Okay, in fact, that is a requirement, one of our actions that retired, that we have to.
Oh, it's been a while.
So, yeah. And then for another one, and this is the last one I'll bother you with. You know, we have to do creative arts. Ken stepped down, mad at us, mad at the borough, mad at the world. So, I know a woman up the street, her name is Delmira Hernandez Smith. She's a wonderful artist. She lives across,
Man, just for what?
I don't know.
We don't have enough murals?
Honestly. So he just flew his top and he took off. And he said we didn't deserve it. So we did this and we were old, we must be old.
Oh, that's true.
Not in a derogatory way.
You know what, we do close.
I was there on the digging day.
But wait a minute, we do want.
Thank God John Work showed up.
We want young people, we're dying to get young people.
Okay.
Don't die yet, don't die.
So this is what's happening with the creative art. So this woman, so you know that she does have credentials, she did the mural in the library. If you've ever been in the library,
yeah.
so the murals, she did.
She did that.
So I asked her to join our team, and so far, so good. And we're thinking that since Ken likes to do the inside, she'll do the outside. No, he does the outside, she'll do the inside. So what I mean by that is the scaffolding. She could do a walk in the scaffolding, depicting activities of the
And
scaffolding.
get the kids involved, would be nice.
We could do that. We could, you know, come up with a lot of different, we just need you to say, yeah, you can do it.
Well, we just talked about the fact that we have a lease with the Scouts. It's our building, it's still a government building. But we're obviously honoring the Scouts that they have to, it's theirs to use. But yeah, we can work together on it.
So anyway, we are going to need a resolution for the grants for the benches. So I'm giving.
So you need by next week then? Let's get it to Beth and we'll put it on.
And I know Harry's always overworked. I don't know if you talked to Craig. I know that. I know it.
You're right, I stood out there, we watched those guys work on Smith Lane for about an hour and a half. I was tired standing there.
Maybe you could come up with some benches, prices, so we know. I'll talk to you. Craig will talk to you.
Oh, thanks for the warning.
So anyway, that's what we'd like to do before she starts getting prices. Look, we need to get in the building, we need to pick a wall, we need to come up with some design.
I hope we're getting close.
Well, wouldn't you
To our
want to,
TCO.
have you talked to the scoutmaster? Have you talked to the
Not
scouts?
yet. I didn't want to
Think
do
that
that.
would be a good idea. I think that that would be a good idea since it's their scout building.
Okay, yeah, so we'll talk to the scoutmaster, and Eleanor will give you the resolution.
Okay.
And we're good to go.
Yeah,
Thank
sounds
you.
great. Thank you.
So
Anyone
that-
else? All right,
So
seeing
that
no one
would
else?
mean that Ken would be doing the murals and.
Yep.
Set up stuff.
Oh, wow. It's just All right, would someone like to make a motion to close this go to welfare? So, seconded, okay, motion by Mr. Severe, second by Mr. Murray. All in favor? All right, for the welfare, someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Motion by Ms. Pastor, second by Mr. Murray, all in favor? Adjourned at 7:53.
She was very